My fiancée looked me dead in the eye and said, "We need to cancel the honeymoon. My ex really needs me that week for emotional support." I said, "No worries. It is already canceled." Her panicked calls started less than an hour later. So, hey everyone. I am 32, male, and up until about a month ago, I honestly thought I had my life mapped out pretty well. I had a solid job as a civil engineer, a nice apartment in Denver, a paid-off pickup that never gave me trouble, and a fiancée I was supposed to marry in a little under 2 months. Notice I said supposed to because that wedding is dead and buried now. And the way it all blew up is something I just need to talk through. Let me roll it back to the beginning. My name is Jake, and I met my now ex-fiancée, Lauren, about 4 years ago through work. Her marketing agency was partnering with the engineering company I work for on a big commercial development. We met at the kickoff meeting and just clicked. She was sharp, quick with jokes, very driven, and she carried herself with this confidence that pulled you in. We started dating pretty soon after that project wrapped up. The first couple of years were honestly good. We would take weekend trips to places like Boulder or Fort Collins, cook together on weeknights, binge shows on the couch, do little brewery crawls, the usual couple routine. She was really into fitness and yoga. I was more of a basketball and hiking guy. We made the different interests work. Her friends were decent, my friends liked her, our families met and got along fine. It all looked like what a healthy relationship was supposed to look like. I proposed this past January on a trip to Utah. Did the full cliché, no shortcuts. Took her to this overlook in a national park she had been talking about for months, waited until sunset, got down on one knee, and delivered the speech I had been practicing in my head on repeat. She cried, said yes, and immediately blasted it all over Instagram with like 20 hashtags. That probably should have been my first little warning sign, but I was too wrapped up in the moment to think that way. The ring set me back around $11,000. It was a stretch, but I had been putting money aside for a long time specifically for that. She had dropped plenty of hints about the exact thing she wanted. Princess cut diamond, platinum band, at least 1 carat, nothing smaller. I hit every requirement. She seemed over the moon at first. And then things started to get strange. Maybe 2 months after we got engaged, Lauren began bringing up her ex, Ethan, more and more. At first it was casual stuff like, "Oh, Ethan used to love this restaurant too," or "Ethan and I went to that concert venue once." I did not flip out. People have history. I am not the guy who loses his mind over an ex's name being mentioned. From what Lauren had told me early on, she and Ethan had dated for around 5 years during and after college. Supposedly they broke up because he was not ready for anything serious. She wanted marriage and kids. He wanted to figure himself out and float around. She always described their breakup as mutual, peaceful, grown up. Said they were technically on good terms but not really talking anymore. That was the story until around April. All of a sudden, Ethan started appearing on her phone screen a lot. I would see his name when texts popped up. If I asked what was going on, she would say stuff like, "He is going through a rough patch," or "He is stressed about work and just needed advice." Again, I tried to be understanding. I do not think women are not allowed to have guy friends or stay civil with exes. That is not how I operate. My best friend, though, saw it differently. My buddy Tyler and I have been close since college. He is a former Marine, now in construction management, and he has absolutely no filter when it comes to calling things out. We were grabbing drinks one night in late April when I brought up the whole Ethan situation. Tyler just stared at me like I had 3 heads. "Dude, her ex randomly drifts back into the picture right after you propose, and you do not see a problem with that?" He took a long pull from his beer. "That is not random. That is on purpose." I shrugged it off. "Come on, man. She is just trying to be there for a friend who is going through it." Tyler gave me this look. "Yeah? When is the last time you randomly started texting an ex-girlfriend to talk about your feelings?" I opened my mouth to argue, then shut it because he had a fair point. "It is different," I insisted anyway. They have history, and it is not like she is hiding it from me. He shook his head. Just watch your back, Jake. I have seen this play out before. Guys like you want to believe the best in everybody, and you are the ones who get blindsided. I should have taken that more seriously. About 5 weeks later, early June, Lauren asked if Ethan could join us for drinks with some friends. She pitched it like he needed to be more social, get out of his own head, make new friends, and since we were already going to be at this bar downtown, it would just be casual. I wanted to be the laid-back, secure fiancé who was not threatened by an ex. So I said, sure, that is fine. Ethan shows up wearing these designer jeans and a very expensive-looking button-down, like he was dressing for a first date. He was a couple inches taller than me, had that tech bro energy, and worked at some startup doing digital marketing or sales. It was one of those roles where he threw buzzwords around about scale and disruption every other sentence, like selling software was saving the world. The whole night, he kept sliding in little inside jokes with Lauren. Old stories, places they had gone, random memories from their relationship. Nothing outright disrespectful, but every story reminded everyone that they had history I was not part of. Lauren seemed to love it. She laughed at every memory like it was the funniest thing she had ever heard, kept touching his arm when she talked to him, leaning in close. I tried to act unbothered, but Tyler pulled me aside at one point. Are you seriously not seeing this? He asked. She is flirting with him right in front of you. She is just being friendly? I muttered, even though I did not fully believe myself. Friendly? She has not really looked at you for like half an hour, man, Tyler said. You are the fiancé and somehow you are the one who feels like the extra guy in the group. That is messed up. On the drive home, I brought it up. Gently. I am not a yeller by default. Hey, you and Ethan seemed pretty close tonight, I said. I kind of felt like I was third-wheeling your reunion. She snapped the second I said it. What are you even talking about? We were just catching up. I cannot believe you are being jealous about this. I thought you were more secure than that. And just like that, I was the problem. Suddenly I was the insecure, controlling fiancé for noticing that my fiancé was paying more attention to her ex than to me. I backed off, even apologized. I really did not want to be that guy who cannot handle his partner having male friends. But after that, things ramped up. Over the next few weeks, the Ethan thing went into overdrive. They were texting constantly. Lauren would be on her phone during dinner, during movies, in bed right before we tried to sleep. Every time I glanced over, it was him. Long, paragraph-length messages. Late-night conversations full of serious stuff. What do you two talk about that much? I asked one night, trying to keep my voice steady. Just life, she said. He is going through a lot. He feels like he cannot open up to anyone but me. She said it like it was the most natural thing in the world. What kind of stuff? I pushed. I cannot tell you, she replied. He told me in confidence. So now she was keeping secrets from her fiancé to protect her ex's privacy. Awesome. The breaking point came about a month ago. We were sitting at my kitchen table, going over final wedding details. The venue was reserved. Invitations had been sent. We had the photographer and the DJ locked in. Between both of us, we had put down around $18,000 in deposits, with my share being a little higher since I make more, about 11 grand out of that total. The wedding was booked for September 10th, and we had a honeymoon lined up in Punta Cana right after. All-inclusive resort already paid, a bit over $4,200. I was double-checking the catering contract while Lauren scrolled through her phone. Out of nowhere she said, "Hey, I need to talk to you about something." I looked up. Her voice was serious but casual, like she was about to cancel dinner plans, not a major life event. "Okay," I said. "What is up?" She took a long breath. "So Ethan is having a really hard time right now," she began. "His mom's health has not been great. His job has been a mess. And he is dealing with some personal stuff he feels like he cannot talk to anybody else about." I just sat there waiting, not sure where this was going. He really needs support right now, and I am pretty much the only person he feels safe being vulnerable with. It is important that I am there for him through this. Okay, I said slowly. What does that have to do with us? She glanced down at her phone, then back at me. He has this family thing that same week in September, the week of our honeymoon actually, she said. It is his mom's birthday, and with her health, it might be one of her last big celebrations. He asked if I could come with him for emotional support. I just stared at her. You are telling me this 7 weeks before our wedding? I asked. I know the timing is not ideal, she said. Not ideal, I repeated. Lauren, we have a honeymoon booked. We are getting married in, 7 weeks? I know, she said. But Ethan really needs me that week. His family has always meant a lot to me, and with his mom's situation, she trailed off and just looked at me like she expected me to understand. So what are you saying exactly? I asked. I needed to hear her say it plainly. I think we should cancel the honeymoon, she said. Or at least move it, just that week. We can go later, maybe October or November. But Ethan needs me there that week, and I cannot just abandon him when everything is so hard. There was this tiny pause, maybe 5 seconds, where everything snapped into focus. All the things I had brushed off, all the little red flags, all the uneasy feelings I had swallowed. They all clicked at once into one very clear thought. This woman does not respect me, and she probably never really did. You want me to cancel our honeymoon? I said quietly. So you can go hold your ex-boyfriend's hand at his mother's birthday party? My voice was weirdly calm. Even to me. When you say it like that, it sounds bad, she replied. How else would you like me to say it? I asked. Please, walk me through the version that does not sound completely insane. She went straight to defensive mode. Ethan is having a crisis, she snapped. His mother might be dying. I am sorry if me caring about someone I have known most of my adult life is inconvenient for you. But some things are more important than a vacation. Our honeymoon, I said. The trip we are taking right after we get married. You want to skip that so you can go to your ex-boyfriend's family event. It is his mother's birthday, she shot back. She is sick, Jake. How can you be this selfish? I stood up from the table. I need to think, I said. What is there to think about? She demanded. Either you support me being there for a friend who needs me, or you do not. That is all this is. She used that tone again. The one that made it sound like I was some petty child, and she was the reasonable adult being noble and compassionate. Give me a couple hours, I said, grabbing my keys. I walked out and drove straight to Tyler's place. He opened the door, took one look at my face and said, All right, what did she do? I told him everything. How Ethan randomly slid back into her life. The constant texting. The night at the bar where I might as well have been invisible. And now the honeymoon thing. Tyler just kept shaking his head harder and harder. When I finished, he was quiet for a second. Then he said, Let me get this straight. Your fiancée just asked you to cancel your honeymoon so she can go to her ex-boyfriend's family party. People she is not even related to. Do you actually grasp how insane that is? I do not know what to do, I admitted. Yes, you do, he said. You just do not want to do it. You have almost 4 years invested in this, plus an $11,000 ring on her finger. He grabbed a beer from the fridge and handed it to me. Let me flip it for you, he said. If your best friend came to you with this exact story, what would you tell him? I took a long drink, really thinking about it. I would tell him she is choosing her ex over him, I said. Exactly, Tyler said. And what else? That she does not respect him or the relationship, I answered. Right again, he said. Now, what would you tell him to do? I stared at the floor. Walk away, I said finally. There you go, Tyler said, leaning back on the couch. Look, man, I know this is brutal. You poured time and money and love into this. but she just showed you exactly where you fall on her priority list. If you marry her, you are signing up for a lifetime of being second place to Ethan, or whoever else shows up needing emotional support. We talked for a couple of hours. By the end of it, I could not avoid the truth anymore. Lauren had been pulling away ever since Ethan reappeared. The engagement was supposed to bring us closer, but instead she got weirdly distant, more glued to her phone than to our future. You know what else is sketchy? Tyler added. His mom's big birthday party just happens to land during your honeymoon week. What are the odds of that? I had not even thought of that. You think he did it on purpose? I asked. I think Ethan knows when your wedding is, Tyler said. And I think he is testing how far he can push. He wants to know if she will pick him over you. And right now, she is failing that test or passing it if you are Ethan. I drove home around midnight. Lauren was in bed, phone in hand, fingers flying across the screen. I would bet money she was talking to Ethan about the exact conversation we had just had. Hey, she said, looking up. So, did you think about what we talked about? I did, I said, staying as calm as I could. And you were right. We should cancel the honeymoon. Her face lit up like a Christmas tree. Seriously? Oh my God. Thank you. I know it is a big sacrifice, but it means so much that you are supporting. I am not done. I cut in. I am canceling the honeymoon because there is not going to be a wedding. It was like the air vanished from the room. She stared at me, phone still in her hand, like her brain needed a minute to load. What? She whispered. I am calling off the wedding, I said. We are over. She sat bolt upright, her face sliding from confused to panicked. Jake, what are you even talking about? You cannot just. I can, I said. And I am. Any woman who would ask her fiancé to cancel their honeymoon so she can go emotionally babysit her ex-boyfriend is not someone I am going to marry. I paused. Actually, scratch that. Any woman who thinks canceling a honeymoon for anything short of a real emergency is normal is not someone I am going to marry. But his mother is sick, she said. She is basically family to me. You are acting like this is nothing. She is not your mother, I said. She is not your family. Ethan is your ex, who you have been putting ahead of me for months. I am done pretending this is normal. She started crying, real tears, not the crocodile kind. I will give her that. Jake, please. You are blowing this out of proportion, she sobbed. I was not choosing him over you. I was just trying to do the right thing. By ditching our honeymoon? I said. By spending half the night glued to his texts instead of talking about our future? By dragging him into our friend group and making me feel like a stranger in my own relationship? My voice was getting louder. It was months of swallowed frustration boiling over. When was the last time you seemed genuinely excited about our wedding, Lauren? I asked. When was the last time you talked about our future instead of Ethan's latest crisis? She did not answer. She could not. I want you out of my place by the end of the week, I said. I will crash at Tyler's for a few nights. Figure out where you are going. I grabbed a bag, tossed in work clothes and basics, and walked out. My phone started buzzing almost as soon as I hit the street. Lauren, over and over and over. Jake, please come back. We need to talk. I did not mean it that way. You are throwing away almost 4 years over one conversation. I would never actually pick him over you. You are being dramatic. Come home. By the time I got to Tyler's, I shut my phone off. He already had the couch made up with blankets and pillows. So you did it, he said. Yeah, I said. I did. How do you feel? He asked. I actually took a second to check in with myself. Honestly, I said, relieved. The next morning, I woke up clear-headed with a very simple plan. First call, the venue. Hi, this is Jake Walker, I said. I need to cancel my wedding on September 10th. The coordinator was kind but firm. I am sorry to hear that, Mr. Walker. With this little notice, our cancellation policy means we have to keep 100% of your deposit. That is $7,000. I understand, I said. Go ahead and cancel. Second call, caterer. Same basic answer. Third, photographer. Fourth, DJ. Fifth, the hotel block for guests. By lunchtime, everything was officially canceled. Total money gone, about $14,000. My share of that was around $9,000. Every phone call hurt a little. But oddly, each one also felt like I was cutting another rope that had been tying me to something that was slowly drowning me. When Tyler came home on his lunch break, he saw me on the couch with my laptop, spreadsheets, and emails open. Holy crap, you are actually doing it, he said. It is already done, I said. Everything is canceled. What about the ring? He asked. What about it? I replied. Dude, you spent 11 grand on that thing, he said. In Colorado, engagement rings are usually treated as conditional gifts. No wedding, no ring. You are legally supposed to get it back. I had honestly not even thought that far ahead. She has probably pawned it already, I muttered. Text her anyway, Tyler said. Tell her you want the ring back by tomorrow night, or you file a police report for theft. So I did. I sent. I need the ring back by tomorrow at 8 p.m. or I will be reporting it stolen. She answered in under a minute. Are you seriously being this petty over a ring? The ring cost me $11,000, I replied. I want it back. This is not up for debate. I cannot just hand it over right now, she wrote back. I need time. You have 24 hours. I sent. That is all. She tried calling. I ignored it. She called Tyler's phone. He answered just long enough to say, stop harassing him and get the ring back to him unless you want legal problems. Then hung up. After that, the calls stopped. The texts did not. That afternoon, I started getting messages from her mom, then her sister, then 2 of her bridesmaids. Every conversation sounded the same. You are overreacting. She is heartbroken. This is just wedding stress. You are throwing away something beautiful over a misunderstanding. I sent one group text to everyone who had weighed in. Lauren asked me to cancel our honeymoon so she could go to her ex-boyfriend's family event. I chose to cancel the wedding instead. My decision is final. Please stop contacting me about this. Most people went pretty quiet after that. Couple tried to argue. I blocked them. If you think what she did was reasonable, we are not on the same planet. That evening, Lauren showed up at Tyler's building. She looked rough. No makeup, red swollen eyes, hair yanked into a messy ponytail, baggy sweats. Not the always put-together woman I had been with for years. She looked like someone whose life had just exploded. Tyler opened the door and stepped into the frame. He does not want to see you, he said. Please, she begged. I just need to talk to him. You already said everything when you asked him to cancel the honeymoon, he replied. Your priorities are crystal clear. I messed up, she sobbed. I was not thinking straight. Ethan has been guilt-tripping me, and I fell for it. But I choose Jake. I choose our relationship. Tyler looked back at me. I shook my head. He is done, Lauren, Tyler said. Go home. Jake, please? She cried, trying to look past Tyler. We can fix this. I will cut Ethan off completely. I will do whatever you want. I walked up to the doorway. She looked at me like I was about to save her. Where is the ring? I asked. Her face crumpled. Jake, where, I repeated, is the ring? She fumbled in her purse and pulled out the little box. I opened it, checked that it was actually my ring, closed it, and put it in my pocket. Thank you, I said. We are done here. Jake, we have been together almost 4 years, she pleaded. You are really going to throw that away over one stupid conversation? It was not one conversation, I said. It was months of you choosing Ethan over me, brick by brick, text by text, until you finally worked up the nerve to ask me to literally give up our honeymoon for him. I took a breath. You did not just make a mistake, I said. You showed me who you really are. I love you, she whispered. No, I said quietly. You love the stability I give you. You love the idea of being married. But you do not love me enough to put me first. And I am not going to spend my life competing with your ex for your attention. Tyler gently closed the door. We could hear her crying in the hallway for a few minutes. Then it went quiet. The next day, I went back to the jeweler where I had bought the ring. They offered to buy it back for $7,000. Considering it was already used and engraved, that was better than I expected. I took the deal. That money immediately went toward paying down my credit cards and patching some of the wedding-related financial damage. Meanwhile, Lauren's voicemails piled up. I listened to a handful out of morbid curiosity. The pattern was textbook. Voicemail number 1, about an hour after I left the apartment. Jake, we need to talk about this. You cannot just make a decision this huge without at least hearing me out. Call me. Voicemail number 4, same night. I know you are mad, but this is insane. We can work through it if you would just pick up. Please call me back. Voicemail number 8, the next morning. I told Ethan I cannot go to his mom's birthday party. I choose you, Jake. I am choosing our relationship. Please call me so we can figure this out. Voicemail 13 that afternoon. Your mom called me. She is worried about you. I told her you are just being stubborn. She thinks you are making a mistake. Everyone thinks you are making a mistake. Voicemail 19 a few days later. You are so selfish. Do you have any idea what you have put me through? I have to tell everyone the wedding is off. My parents are humiliated. My friends think you are insane. You ruined my life over nothing. Voicemail 24, about a week in. Fine. You win. I hope you are happy. I hope you find someone who meets your impossible standards, because I clearly did not. Maybe Ethan was right about you. That last line stuck with me. Maybe Ethan was right about you. So, apparently he had been running his mouth about me to her. Trash-talking me, undermining me, and she had been listening. I never responded to any of it. There was literally nothing left to say. Tyler told me to block her entirely, and honestly, emotionally I wanted to, but I kept everything saved, just in case it ever turned into a legal mess. Good thing I did. Roughly 2 weeks after we split, I got a letter from a lawyer. Lauren was demanding that I reimburse her for her portion of the wedding costs, because I was the one who pulled the plug. She claimed she had put up around $8,000 on her dress, alterations, hair and makeup, and her part of the deposits. I sent the letter to my own attorney, Tyler's cousin, who gave me a family discount. He read it, chuckled, and said, "She does not have a leg to stand on." He wrote back something along the lines of, "These were mutual wedding expenses for a mutual engagement. Your client asked my client to cancel their honeymoon so she could attend her ex-boyfriend's family event. My client chose to end the engagement instead. She is not entitled to reimbursement. We also have written evidence of your client's request." They attached screenshots of the texts where she literally told me Ethan needed me to cancel our honeymoon for his mom's birthday. Funny how fast the tough talk letters stopped after that. Could have been an absolutely soul-crushing time in my life, and yeah, parts of it sucked. But there was one big thing that changed it for me. I felt lighter, like someone had finally cut off a heavy backpack I had been carrying so long I forgot what it felt like to stand up straight. Tyler saw it too. "You are actually smiling again, man," he said one day. "I have not seen that in a while." "You sure?" I asked. "Positive," he said. "You have been stressed out for months. I thought it was wedding planning. Now I know it was her." He was right. I had been tiptoeing around her feelings, trying to be understanding, while she slowly shoved me into the background of my own life. About a month after everything blew up, So basically where I am now. I started hearing what was going on with Lauren through mutual friends, and it was exactly what you would expect. First, she did end up going to Ethan's mom's birthday party with him. There were pictures on Instagram of them at this fancy restaurant. His arm around her, her leaning into him. She captioned it with something about showing up for the people who truly matter, with a bunch of heart emojis. Real subtle. But here is the twist. His mom was not actually dying. One of our mutuals did some digging because they were curious about the drama. Turned out Ethan had blown a minor health scare way out of proportion to guilt Lauren into coming. Second, the real reason the wedding was called off started making the rounds. Not because of me, I kept my mouth shut, but because one of her own bridesmaids thought what Lauren did was absolutely nuts and started telling people. Once that story spread, the tone from everybody changed real fast. Folks who had been on my case about giving her another chance suddenly stopped saying much at all. My mom called me after she heard the truth from one of Lauren's relatives. "Jake, honey," she said, "tell me straight. Is it true she asked you to cancel your honeymoon for her ex-boyfriend's family party?" "Yes," I said. There was a long silence on the line. "I take back everything I said about you being impulsive," my mom said finally. "You did the right thing." "Thanks, Mom," I said. "That girl is out of her mind," she said. "I am actually relieved you are not marrying her." Coming from my mom, who had really liked Lauren at first, that meant something. Third, and this one is almost funny, Lauren and Ethan made it official like 3 weeks after our breakup. She is already posting couple selfies, calling him my person, writing captions like she is starring in some epic love story. The comments on her posts are wild. Half the people are cheering her on. The other half are like, "Didn't you just leave your fiancé like 3 weeks ago?" Somebody literally wrote, "Wait, is this the guy you ditched your wedding for?" She replied with, "The heart wants what it wants." When I showed that to Tyler, he almost spit his drink out. "The heart wants what it wants?" he repeated. She dumps you for the dude she could not get over, and somehow she is trying to frame it like some romantic movie? Come on. I just shrugged. "Let her have whatever story she needs," I said. "It is not my problem anymore." And I meant it. Stopped bothering me. Yeah, it stung a bit at first, but only because it proved what I had already suspected, that emotionally, she had probably checked out of our relationship as soon as Ethan came back around. I was just the last person to get the memo. Fourth, and this is where karma puts on work boots, Ethan is apparently still Ethan. According to a friend who keeps me in the loop, let us call her Megan, he is already showing the same old red flags. He is constantly too busy to see Lauren. He bails on their plans. He is still active on dating apps. Megan knows because she saw his profile while she was swiping. Lauren is already stressing out, apparently, venting about how she cannot understand why he is so distant now that they finally have their chance together. Megan told me over coffee, "It is like watching somebody retake the same test they already failed once and expecting a different grade." She shook her head. She walked away from a stable relationship with a guy who was all in on her for somebody who treats her like a backup option. Megan said, "I feel bad for her a little, but honestly, she made that choice. As for me, I am good, like genuinely good. I used part of the money from selling the ring to book a solo trip to Montana in August. Going to hike, fish, get some quiet. Remember who I am without all this drama hanging over my head. Tyler is coming out for a long weekend of it. I also dove back into work. Picked up overtime on a big project. Nailed a bonus that covered the rest of my wedding losses. My boss even pulled me aside and said I seemed more focused lately. I told him, I got rid of a huge distraction. He laughed and bought me lunch. Back at home, my apartment feels like it is mine again. My furniture, my stuff, my rules. I am sleeping through the night. I am back in the gym regularly. I see my friends without having to juggle around someone else's constant emotional emergencies. I started reading again. Picked up a guitar and have been slowly teaching myself chords. Something I always said I would do one day, when I was not so busy. And yeah, I have dipped a toe back into dating. Nothing serious. It has only been about a month, and I am not trying to slap a band-aid over anything. But I went on a coffee date with a woman a friend introduced me to, and it was easy. No weird tension, no ex looming in the background, no feeling like I had to fight for basic attention. Just two people talking. She texted the next day saying she had a good time and asked if I wanted to get dinner this weekend. I said yes. It is refreshing to be around someone who is actually present, instead of half checked out and emotionally invested somewhere else. Looking back, I can see all the warning signs I ignored. The way Lauren's whole face lit up whenever Ethan's name came up. How she got defensive every time I asked even a simple question about their contact. The way her enthusiasm for the wedding started fading right around the time he re-entered the picture. How she stopped talking about our future and turned into Ethan's unpaid therapist instead. I was so determined to be the good guy, the understanding fiancé, the one who was not controlling or jealous, that I let her walk right over every reasonable boundary I should have had. I turned down my own instincts and called it insecurity, when it was really my gut waving a giant red flag. That insane honeymoon request was not the actual problem. It was just the loudest symptom of something that had been broken for months. She had already chosen Ethan over me in 100 small ways before she ever formed the sentence. We should cancel our honeymoon so I can go with him to his mom's birthday. I just finally woke up when she said it out loud. And I am incredibly glad it happened before there was a marriage certificate. Before there were kids. Before our lives were tied together in ways that require lawyers, courts, and years of damage control to undo. Tyler says I dodged a bullet. My mom says I dodged a nuclear warhead. My therapist, I started seeing one to process all this, says I showed strong boundaries once I finally listened to myself. I will take all three. If things had gone as planned, our wedding would be in about 2 weeks. Instead, I will probably be at work, grab dinner with Tyler afterward, then go home to my quiet apartment and sleep like a baby, knowing I made the right call. No second guessing. No what ifs. Just relief and the sense that my future belongs to me again. So that is the story. Almost 4 years together. An $11,000 ring, around $9,000 in wedding losses, and one canceled honeymoon later. I am single and I am honestly thankful for it. If you are with someone who keeps prioritizing their ex, who asks you for insane sacrifices, who makes you feel like you are crazy for having basic expectations of respect and loyalty, listen to that knot in your stomach. It is there for a reason. And if anyone ever looks you in the eye and says, "You should cancel our honeymoon so I can go support my ex at their family event," do not walk. Run. Run straight for the exit and do not look back. Life is way too short to be a background character in your own relationship. I would rather be single on my couch than sitting next to someone who makes me feel alone while calling me their partner. That is it. That is the whole thing. Thanks for hanging in there and listening. You deserve better than second place. And better really is out there, I promise. If you are listening to this as a story online and it hit home, go ahead and tap that hype button or whatever they are calling it now. It lets the platform know this kind of real-life story matters and helps more wild ones find their way to you.